They're going to be mad. They're going to be mad. The slower ones, as many like to refer to them as, they're going to be angry. Why? Because, well, Sports Illustrated, much to the chagrin of Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Mystics, the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, and the gang is on the WNBA preview issue of Sports Illustrated.
Ooh, that is fire.
And now the reveal for everyone waiting.
Just beautiful. Beautiful work of art. I love it.
Angel Reese just found out Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever bagged the Sports Illustrated cover. And let's just say, the meltdown was louder than a fire alarm at a popcorn factory. Did someone say main character energy? Because Caitlin's snatching spotlights like it's a clearance sale. Meanwhile, Angel's somewhere Googling how to throw shade professionally. What's in this SI cover that's got the whole WNBA buzzing and one LSU legend seeing red? Stick around, it's messier than a Kardashian group chat.
Just consistency and being confident, and just being efficient, and just being able to be myself. And like I was saying, like not worrying about anything else but me and just trusting the process. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, don't be expecting me to come down and shoot 6-7 threes a night. Like, obviously that's what I'm working on, but like...
Angel Reese must have woken up, looked at the latest Sports Illustrated cover, saw Caitlin Clark's radiant face beaming back at her, and immediately went full Hulk mode. Picture it. Phone flying across the room, dramatic gasp, and a hastily drafted Instagram story packed with more passive-aggressive energy than a Kardashian Christmas dinner. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, ignites a competitive meltdown quite like watching your rival get the glossy, high-fashion treatment from a magazine best known for making athletes look like Greek gods.
What are you talking about? Well, we're talking about America's team, and I can't help but to get all patriotic inside. When we're talking about America's team, I can't help but to feel all red, white, and blue inside the Indiana Fever Grace WNBA Preview 2025 Sports Illustrated.
Caitlin Clark, fresh off a rookie season with the Indiana Fever that already feels more legendary than Angel Reese's entire PR team could fabricate, just landed a Sports Illustrated cover that screams, "I'm the future and you're just scrolling." And while Caitlin was out here serving iconic poses in gold-toned lighting, Reese was apparently serving up cold takes and lukewarm side-eye.
The Indiana Fever make the cover of Sports Illustrated, and there's plenty of content that came along with it.
If you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give it a like. It really helps us out more than you know. And if you've already done that, big thanks. You're the best.
Yeah, we starting this week a WNBA team on the cover of Sports Illustrated for the first time in a really long time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, super excited about that.
Do you know how long it's been?
So a couple years ago, we had a selection of players on the cover, but not just like one team. Like we had Candace Parker and Asia and Sue Bird. Mm-hmm. And then we've had one-off W players as solo covers, but I don't think we have ever had a team just being covered as a team for like, this was an interesting offseason, what happened, what comes next. Mm-hmm. Ever. So I was very excited to get to work on that, and yeah, stay tuned for that cover drop.
Now, let's be honest. Reese has spent more time trying to convince the world she's that girl than actually, playing like that girl. From TikToks in full glam 5 minutes after a game to her Oscar-worthy dramatic exits during interviews, Reese is trying to secure every headline that isn't about basketball. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark just plays the game, like actually plays it. Scoreboards light up, records break, fans go wild, and somehow this really bothers Angel. Caitlin Clark shows up to games with a shooter's mentality and leaves with half the arena chanting her name. Angel Reese, on the other hand, shows up like she's auditioning for a reality TV show called America's Next Top Victim. One would think a competitive athlete might use the success of her peers as motivation, but no. Angel Reese channels the energy of someone who didn't get invited to the party but insists it was lame anyway.
The Fever team, that's right. A lot of reaction coming in. Let's just take a look at the cover right here. Kelsey, Aaliyah, Caitlin, DeWanna Bonner. It's an awesome cover. It really is. I'm not going to even kid you. It's an awesome cover, and there's a lot of reaction to this that's floating in right now from fans, as you can expect. And the WNBA did, to their credit, actually share this, because with them, you never know. They've done what I think has been a better job of propping up their biggest star and showcasing their biggest star. Man, there's going to be a lot of hate on this.
When Sports Illustrated dropped the cover, Reese's social media silence was louder than a Taylor Swift album drop. Not a congrats, not a like, not a cryptic emoji, just vibes. And by vibes, I mean unsubtle shade through reposted fan tweets bemoaning how certain players get all the hype. Yes, Angel, that's typically what happens when you score more, whine less, and focus on the sport instead of your influencer career. And before anyone starts howling about rivalry and competitive fire, let's not confuse competitive with petty. Caitlin Clark's version of Rivalry involves setting records and raising league visibility. Angel Reese's version involves sulking on the bench like someone just stole her fries. One of these approaches leads to endorsements and Sports Illustrated covers. The other leads to Instagram lives filled with "I know my worth" speeches delivered with the conviction of a teenager grounded for sneaking out past curfew.
We got Caitlin, Clark, Kent, the big four for the Indiana Fever. Fever Dream. There's much more to the W's most watched team than the Caitlin Clark show. We're not even going to get into the headline. I'm not going to take off my glasses, raise the people's eyebrow, put back on the people's glass. We're not even going to do that. We're not even going to do that. Salute to the Indiana Fever, and salute to the Indiana Fever front office for launching this.
What's most hysterical is Reese's fan base. Half teenage drama queens, half keyboard warriors, storming Twitter like this cover was a federal offense. Why not Angel? They cry, as if Sports Illustrated owes a centerfold to every player with decent rebounding stats and a flair for chaos. The fever dream here isn't just the Indiana Fever, it's the illusion that sports media is supposed to pretend everyone is equal even when the stats, the eyeballs, and the bank accounts say otherwise. Let's break it down like a mid-season film session. Caitlin Clark brings in sellout crowds, spikes jersey sales, and gets ESPN to lead with women's basketball. Unheard of just a year ago. Angel Reese brings in Twitter threads, side eyes from teammates, and the occasional ejection. Yet somehow, when Sports Illustrated chooses the face of the WNBA's rising popularity, Reese acts like someone just canceled her Netflix subscription mid-season.
So the latest issue of Sports Illustrated is out, and the Indiana Fever are gracing its cover, saying there is much more to the W's most watched team than the Caitlin Clark show. I kind of love that they included DeWanna Bonner in this cover because she is an integral member of the team, and about a month ago there was a video going around that Kelsey Mitchell had posted, just some random video of all of them in their red, rebel red uniform, and everyone on social media was like, what is going on? Did they get new uniforms? And you could tell that they were at a park, and it ends up that they were shooting the cover of Sports Illustrated.
And let's talk about that Sports Illustrated shoot. Caitlin looked like she was carved out of confidence and clutch plays. Powerful pose, effortless grace, subtle flexes all around. Meanwhile, Angel Reese was allegedly throwing shade through liked posts about media favoritism, as if a magazine cover is awarded through vibes and not, relevance. Honestly, Angel Reese complaining about not getting the cover is like someone who didn't study for the test complaining the teacher didn't curve the grade. You can't ride the coattails of someone else's spotlight and then get mad when the light doesn't hit your side of the room. And yet, here we are, again, watching Angel try to spin PR gold out of envy straw. It's the performative outrage for me. The dramatic quotes about not being appreciated by the media, as if the media hasn't already spoon-fed her attention since that viral finger wag at Caitlin last year. That one gesture earned her an entire career extension in the press, and now that it's expired, she's out here trying to milk expired drama like it's oat milk.
But as you can see here, the Indiana Fever will be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I believe it's out. I'm actually going to run over to the local Barnes & Noble here in a little bit and see if I can get a copy if it's still there. They actually still make magazines, I believe. But anyway, as you can see, Sports Illustrated WNBA preview issue. Very cool cover, I have to say. Very cool cover. I know that you're going to get people who be like, well, why is it just those four? Where's Sophie Cunningham? And on and on. You know the thing. But it's a cool cover, okay? The more people you have, the smaller they get on that. I got to say, for the WNBA preview, when you're talking about the Indiana Fever, I'm glad that it's not just Caitlin Clark. I think this was a smart decision actually by Sports Illustrated, which has been was an iconic, incredible magazine.
The irony is Caitlin Clark doesn't even have to respond. She just shows up, drops 30, signs another endorsement deal, and keeps it moving. Meanwhile, Reese is trying to create tension where there's just apathy. It's hard to have a rivalry when one side is sprinting toward greatness and the other is busy updating her aesthetic to misunderstood icon. At some point, you've got to respect the grind, or at least recognize it. Caitlin Clark didn't get that Sports Illustrated cover because she winked at the camera. She earned it with performances that made even casual fans say, "Oh wait, this girl's the real deal." Meanwhile, Angel Reese's resume looks more like a TikTok content calendar than an athlete's portfolio. You want a Sports Illustrated cover, Angel? Maybe start by focusing less on media narratives and more on shooting percentages. Start more games, finish more plays, and maybe, just maybe, try not to make every press appearance sound like an episode of Maury, because right now it's less misunderstood athlete and more chronically online.
There's going to be a lot of mother effers out there, and I am here for it. I am here for it. Right here, the quote, should have put the whole WNBA on it. People are going to be pissed. They are indeed. Yeah, somebody brought up her shoes she's wearing. Caitlin Clark's shoes are, man, they're sick. Oh, that's red Kobe's. Mambas. Man, I like that. I do.
And don't get it twisted. The WNBA needs bold personalities. But there's a difference between bold and bitter. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't erase Angel Reese's potential. It just highlights the gap between talk and performance. And no amount of sulky Instagram stories will cover that up. But let's not pretend like Angel Reese is suffering in silence. Oh no, she's booked and busy, just not for basketball. Fashion Week appearances, reality show cameos, and the ever-iconic cryptic tweet drop are all part of the Reese brand. She's cornered the market on basketball player adjacent, which is impressive if the goal is brand building and not, winning games. Watching Angel Reese react to this cover is like watching someone get mad at their ex for getting married before them. It's not your timeline, sis. You can't force a headline. Caitlin Clark didn't steal anything. She earned it while you were out here staging your next dramatic comeback arc like a CW show that got canceled after season 1.
While many people were asking questions, wait, Slam Magazine, Mercury Rising, why don't you have the Fever Rising on this? You know how many copies of this magazine you would sell? Yeah, we have Caitlin Clark's name on the cover, but the Fever Rising need to be on the cover. It seems as if the schedule was full. They were all booked up that day. Yeah, we had Time Magazine to take care of, we had Nike to take care of, we had this to take care of. Oh, we had a Gamebridge event that day. Sorry, Slam, couldn't make it. Slam Magazine, Sports Illustrated. I guess I'll go Sports Illustrated. I guess we'll go to Sports Illustrated. The Big Four, folks.
And let's not forget the fan fiction that popped up immediately. Twitter threads suggesting this was a race thing, a media bias thing, a Caitlin plays for a white crowd thing. But the receipts are in. The crowd is everyone. White, black, purple, Gen Z, boomers. Everyone's watching Caitlin Clark. Not because the media told them to, but because greatness is kind of hard to ignore, even when you're scrolling past 1,000 TikToks about it. The truth is, if Angel Reese wanted the crown, she should have done more than just act like she already wore it. Confidence is great. Delusion is not a substitute for delivery. Sports Illustrated isn't running a charity program. It's a business, and the business right now is Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, Angel's PR response feels like it was copy-pasted from a diary entry written under a scented candle. All feelings, no facts. I'll keep pushing. They'll see me one day. Girl, it's not that they don't see you. It's that they're seeing everything and choosing someone else for a reason.
The article has a lot of stuff that we pretty much already know because everyone covers Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever like nothing else in the WNBA. But there is one excerpt that was kind of fun, and of course it's about her getting stronger and it's about her arms and her weight gain and her in the weight room. But the funny thing about this excerpt is that she went to try her jersey on and she thought that it actually got smaller, and it goes, Clark's top priority was getting stronger. She hit the weight room 4 times a week. The change was pronounced enough that when given her uniform for the photo shoot with Sports Illustrated, Clark asked if it was a smaller jersey than one she wore last year. Same size, replied the equipment manager, you're filling out more. And she worked to complement that strength with better finishing ability, etc., etc., etc.
And now the spin machine begins. Interviews with friendly outlets, overdramatic sound bites, maybe even a mini documentary narrated by a former child star. Anything to avoid the hard truth. Sometimes you get outplayed, and no amount of attitude can fix that. It's almost Shakespearean how Reese continues to cast herself as the tragic hero in a story that's really just a highlight reel of Caitlin Clark breaking ankles and taking names. At some point, even the most loyal fan base has to ask, are we supporting an athlete or a character in a very expensive soap opera? If Angel Reese spent half as much time on her jumper as she does crafting the perfect misunderstood queen persona, maybe this would be a different conversation. But as it stands, she's one more eye roll away from being cast in a Real Housewives spin-off called Baskets and Backhanded Compliments.
Get to that. Just what is interesting for me, this, no matter how this season goes, I want to be fair, is the Indiana Fever did a couple of things that I think are absolutely amazing that I'm going to give them props to, despite how it turns out, because there's always a risk. Y'all have heard me talk many times about my Eagles and what an incredible GM Howie Roseman is. That doesn't mean everything he does has worked out, right? That's impossible. We can't tell the future. But the changes they made, they realized, hey, you know what? After this rookie year, and it has to come from the top, ultimately.
And you know what really seals the comedy? Reese is already hinting that she's moving in silence, which is rich, considering there hasn't been a silent day on her feed since the invention of Instagram stories. Moving in silence? This woman couldn't sneak past a sleep-deprived librarian with a megaphone. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is just out here playing chess, while Angel Reese is stuck in an Uno game, slamming down a reverse card every time someone compliments her competition. You want the cover? Win the game. You want the spotlight? Shine on the court. But until then, enjoy the bench and the tweets about how unfair it all is, because nothing screams top-tier athlete quite like making someone else's success your entire personality for the week.